What I'm trying to say is, we haven't found a planet that's habitable that we can get to in under 100 years. That's assuming people live 100 years on the flight. We're assuming cryo freezing doesn't exist. Now you get the technology to get this place that's 1,000 light years away. You get you make cryo freezing possible. So you can store people in a flight for 1,000 light years, and you can get there. Right? Now this is suppose the only habitable place that we find, just assuming the Drake equation doesn't work. Now suppose all this is possible. Who is willing to spend 1,000 light years in cryo freezing to come to a place for the benefit of the rest of humanity? Isn't this more of a question of a human selfish interest?
I don't think you assuming that everything we know about physics is the absolute and we would never progress beyond that point is correct. Like if 100 years ago, if you would have like or 200 years
No, that's
ago,
not
if
his
you
question.
thought
That's not his question. He's saying even
no,
if
no,
cryo
I'm
freezing
saying
exists,
why his thing is flawed because he's assuming cryo freezing is the only way to go about it, or the only way we can reach that habitable planet is if you wait for 1,000
yes,
years,
even
right?
So,
if
so
we
you're telling me
even if
you're
we
going to teleport there? Is that what you're saying? That's the only good technology people are going to be willing to take, right? What else are people going to be willing to take if they don't want to waste time to get to a planet?
Okay, so
it,
supposing
it
100, okay,
is 10
supposing
light
50 years
years
down the
away. Like
line, like
it's
they
10 light
discover
years
that.
away. Like it's the closest. I mean, nearby star. I think it was 10 light years away, and the exoplanets are farther away, and we are not even close to traveling at hyper speed, Star Wars type stuff. So it's gonna take ages for us, right? We're not like living in that hex field or something. Just go through there, go faster than light, like Guardians of Galaxy. That's like way past. Like that might not even happen. That is gonna be like hundreds of generations down the line.
So
Easily.
I
Yeah.
don't.
So, well,
Here's what I
and
agree with you. Here's what I agree with you. I agree with you that current technology does not exist for us to be able to do what I'm saying. If we
Yes.
want to go to Mars, that the way the current
Even if
technology
it
stands.
exists, as Shikhar said, why would you want to go to such a bad
Okay, yeah,
place?
exactly. Okay, so the current technology that exists is not suitable or not reasonable enough for any human to ever going to do what it demands. But my point is, how do you
No, my
go
point is,
from the tech?
if it exists, like my and Shikha's point is, even let's say 100 years down the line, 200 years down the line, even if it exists, we cannot, like, as he said, why would a person want to go to such an inhospitable place when Earth is
exactly.
so
So,
good, right? Like, why would they want to just, like, it's
So
such a bad place for them to go. And
why do people want to go to
for the betterment of
Mars?
humanity, why would they do that? And like,
people want to
nobody
go to
cares about
That's
Mars
that.
because there are people who have made the whole thing of going to Mars sound very good. It's simply human perception of why people want to go to Mars.
I don't think
People,
so. I don't think before you send someone to Mars, you can tell them that they can expect like cotton fields over there. I'm pretty sure if you're sending someone to Mars, you have to tell them that listen, these are the risks you're going to be facing. This is what's going to
No, my
happen to
point is,
you
why
over
would they
there.
even go?
so if someone can all I have to do is talk to a person for half an hour and just to convince someone that someone's race is inferior or something of the sort, then how hard would it be to tell someone that going to Mars will be fun? How hard would it be? I can get a person to give their life up. It wouldn't take me more
I
than half an
don't,
hour. I'm not
I
a
don't,
professional talker.
I don't think what you're saying is I think what you're saying is absolutely incorrect. The only people who would ever go to Mars would have to
You
go
want
through
to become
like
a
2 to 3
brainwashing
years.
company, essentially,
No, I'm
because
not.
you want to.
I don't know what you're on about. I'm saying at some point, if with your logical argument that everyone is selfish and that why would anyone ever want to go to Mars? Like, why would anyone ever want to go to explore? Why are people going to Mars? Like, why are people readily wanting to go to Mars? Why is there a wait list
Like
to go
the
to Mars?
So
bro,
they have been told by. Sorry,
that's
go
like
ahead.
a very
I
small
don't.
percentage of the population, extremely small percent of the population.
Yeah,
Most people, they don't
yeah.
want to go to
First
Mars.
off,
Like you explain to them on the wait list, like it's like they want to buy a cyber truck, but once they see it, they don't want to buy it, right? It's like it's curiosity, human curiosity. But once they know what they're in it, they're not gonna give up their lives. My point is, obviously, like since I was in childhood, I was like, I'll go to space, I'll go to Mars. But once you understand the risks, obviously you don't want to waste your only life, right? It's not like unless your technology can
So I
regenerate
like
more.
how the Maybach looks. I want to buy it, but if I don't have the money to purchase the Maybach, then I can't buy it. No one who you're saying is there who wants to go to Mars will actually be willing to go to Mars if you tell them that they have to go. You tell them there's a good
I
shot.
think that's absolute nonsense, bro. Okay. Listen, what you're telling me is when SpaceX eventually sends people to Mars, they're gonna tell them that when they reach there, there'll be people giving them food. That there are gonna be restaurants, then they're gonna live a happy, merry life. You think those people have not gone through 5 years
Why
of
would they go?
training,
Once
have
you tell
not
them the
been
truth,
No.
okay,
if
okay,
That's
people are
one
fine.
going to be
second,
There,
restaurants only, then
no
one
go.
one's
second,
saying
one
there
second.
won't be 10. We're saying that's fine. 5 people will be willing to go to Mars and sacrifice whatever. They'll martyr themselves for the sake of the human race. Even I would be willing to do that for the future of science. But how many other people will be willing to come? How will you move? Maybe your point is that we'll better the earth by taking people off, moving them to other new planets, right? How will you the minimum number, some good number would be maybe 2 billion people. You want to reduce population, make things less competitive, something. Just I'm giving you an example of a number. How are you going to convince even 1 billion people to come to you to Mars? How are you
1
gonna
million,
how
not
you
even billion, just 1 million people.
exactly how you gonna manage even maybe 100,000 people to come to Mars? How are you gonna do that? It's not
But
maybe
you said
technically it's not
100,000 now.
feasible.
I found this thing that says they asked at least 100,000 people were ready to go to Mars and not return. You're telling them they're not coming back, okay? You're telling them they're not coming back and they won't go to
Bro,
Mars.
they'll just
So
when you go seriously, I'm not
I get
sure.
what you're saying. I get what you're saying. I'm sure these surveys are
See,
like,
I agree.
they could
See,
be,
my point is, till now nobody has gone to Mars, right? So once,
yeah,
like, let's say the first 1,000 batch go, why would anyone like really want to go? First, people want to go. I want to go to the moon. I want to be the first person to go to the moon. But that is like a great pull. Now, once people start going to Mars and then they realize how bad it is there, nobody's want to go there. Nobody's nobody's want to go there.
exactly.
My
So
English is
I would, if I'm being put in a space suit, you put me in the rocket, right? I will, if I come, no, maybe it's just suppose I have to spend 7 months on the way to Mars alone. I will jump off the rocket before you make me do that.
again, that's your personal view. But I'm going to say the same thing that I feel that there are enough people who readily want to go and explore because unlike what you believe, not everyone on earth is happy.
no
Not
explore. I mean, when
everyone lives not everyone lives an ideal life. Like I'm sure not every single person here. If I
do
go
you
up
want
to
to
a
play a
person
Squid
and say
Game?
no, I
Squid
don't know
Game,
what I've never seen Squid Game, but I don't know how it functions.
yeah,
But
essentially, like people at the lowest point of their life, you're just taking them and you're just sending them as volunteers. You
no,
just send
no,
them.
no, no, no. That is not what I'm trying to say.
Suppose you
Be clear,
convince
Aadarsh.
someone poor to go, then where will you get the funding to get them to go? Obviously, funding comes through taxation. And do you think the 1.2 billion people of India will be willing to pay for some random beggar on the street to get a new life on Mars? Do you think people are
Yes,
that selfless?